we know that many on the right don't want to take the actual best thing you can take to stop yourself from getting COVID, which is the vaccine. Now, FDA approved. But they do have things they'll take. And the FDA would really prefer if they would stop doing that. They tweeted over the weekend, "You're not a horse, you are not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it." And that is the caption for an article about why you should not use ivermectin to treat or prevent COVID-19. And the reason the FDA has to remind people that they're not bovine is that a lot of people have decided that they don't trust the vaccine because of something with Bill Gates and the CDC, but they do trust sheep dewormer. And so according to an alert issued by the Mississippi Department of Health back on Friday, 70% of all recent calls to poison control in the state have been related to ingestion of livestock or animal formulations of ivermectin purchased at livestock supply centers. Although most callers, 85%, only reported mild symptoms, one person was advised to seek additional treatment. And a Mississippi State Health Officer, Dr. Thomas Dobbs, said, "Animal drugs are highly concentrated for large animals and can be highly toxic in humans. Ivermectin is sometimes used in humans to treat parasites or scabies, but in much smaller doses than are given to livestock." He goes on to say, "You wouldn't get your chemotherapy at a feed store. You wouldn't treat your pneumonia with your animal's medication. It can be dangerous to get the wrong doses of medication, especially with something meant for a horse or a cow." And none of this, Francesca, should be necessary. Not a single bit of this stuff. They don't want to be sheep, and so they treat themselves like sick sheep.
You just stole my line, and I hate you. Like that is exactly right. You're like, "We're not gonna be sheeple now. Give me the sheep meds right now." Like, why? What are you doing?
I want them bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's E-I-E-I-O, man. I don't know where we're going with this, but
anyway, yeah, it's look.
And
it's
on
sad.
that farm, there was a crank. Can you imagine? I just love the idea. There's just a lot of like horse eyes, like, what is going on here? Why is this man in my barn? Like, but yeah, it's so sad and like why but this is the thing, they're getting it from Fox. They're getting it from sources they think are legitimate. Yeah. Right? The whole FDA thing, we think that's gonna change their minds, maybe, but the Fox News talking point will shift. Yes, it shifts and flows, the ebb of the Fox News talking point. As soon as reality sets in, they just diverge around it. Yeah. So, of course, people are taking ivermectin because people are getting sick. They don't know what to do. There hasn't been enough information. And again, back to our robust public healthcare system. It is funny that this is happening, but it's also, if people had doctors they felt they could go to and trust, if people did go see doctors regularly, right? If everyone had that privilege and / the right to do that, do you think we would be seeing the kinds of bogus medicine alternatives that we're seeing now? Of course not.
I hope not.
Of course not.
Look, no, you make a good point, and that actually has shifted my thought a little bit. The thing, because in this case, like Americans, the way they interact with the insurance and healthcare system it's obviously completely influenced by economic considerations. The fact that we do all these GoFundMes and everything. In this particular case, it is literally freely available and free to get the vaccine. But you're right, they are filtering information through the experience that they've had, which has again been affected by these economic concerns. But that said, I do want to focus on causality here because look, there's a lot of crazy things that people in America believe about a lot of different topics. And it can be hard sometimes to figure out exactly why they believe the things they do. Why do they think that Richard Gere did the thing with the gerbil? I don't know, they read it somewhere, it's complicated. Why do they think that aliens, take you up another ship and probe you? I don't know, they saw it on X-Files. It's complicated sometimes, same reasons. And it all has to do with the butt, I'm noticing now. But anyway, it's complicated. In this case though, it is not complicated to figure out why they believe this very specific thing. I should take ivermectin horse meds for COVID.
Do they take it up the butt though?
I don't want to speak for everyone. There's a debate. Anyway, There's basically two schools of thought. Anyway, no, I wanna show you just a little bit from Rachel Maddow's program where she summarized some of the ivermectin talk on Fox News.
We know that our FDA has in many ways failed us by not allowing for the use of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, both of which are used around the world to reduce COVID hospitalizations and deaths.
I pelted them with questions about COVID-19 and the vaccine and therapeutics, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and ivermectin, as well as other proactive treatments and practices were already helping COVID-19 patients all across the country.
On June 5th, Weinstein discussed the benefits of a drug called ivermectin, which can and is around the world used to treat and prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
Okay, so it's very clear. All of the people they trust, including Tucker Carlson, were saying, while they spend month after month telling you like, oh, really suspicious with the vaccine, I don't know, big pharma, don't trust it. Suddenly, big animal pharma, not a thing that you should be concerned about, and just take it. And they lie about it being successfully used. Yes, there had been tests to see if it might help. But so far there is no evidence that it actually does, probably due in no small part to the fact that it is literally not an antiviral medicine. It is for parasites, not for viruses. And so initially they had pointed to this one study that seemed to indicate that it helped. When that study was eventually retracted because of problems with the data, as well as clear plagiarism, suddenly Fox News wasn't interested. Not even interested enough to acknowledge the study they'd been using ended up getting retracted. And I will remind you, these are all hosts that don't want to give medical advice because they're not experts, except when it comes to hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. Then suddenly they're fine encouraging people to look into this more. Any final thoughts?
I mean, the big shame actually, like, look, I think the Trump administration would have absolutely bungled the rollout of the vaccine and getting it, and it would have been, the numbers would not be what they are now, and they're not good. 51% fully vaccinated. 60% one shot, it's all bad. But I'm like, there's this little voice in me that's like, what would the talking point have been if Trump were president now? Would they have encouraged the vaccine then? Or would it all have still been, no, let's go with this other hocus pocus BS? Like, I don't know, because at this point I'm like, how do we game out the reverse psychology of Fox News so that we trick them into believing reality, you know?
I don't think they'd be encouraging. Maybe Trump would because he'd want credit, I guess. Right. But Fox likes it too much. And look, they had more incentive to encourage it in 2020 because a stable country would be better for the candidate, that wants to continue ruling it. Now, like they don't feel any pressure politically. I don't think that they would. We would hit
800,000 deaths. We would have hit so many more deaths by now. I mean,
almost certainly. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.